This is Dumbed Down Life, number 64. When you think of Formula One, how do you think of, what do you think of the teams?
In what respect?
With regards to names of teams and you think, classic Formula One, what do you name some teams?
You think of Ferrari, McLaren, Williams, Lotus.
See, I think of JPS,
well, yeah,
Marlboro.
See, they're the sponsors, though, aren't they?
But they were, when you'd see the old black car with JPS on it and the Marlboro car with the red and white all over it, back in, what was that, the 70s and the 80s?
Well, the 80s, see, I always called it the Marlboro McLaren. I have to say, it was the Marlboro McLaren.
But what engine did that have, or did they change between engines?
I've no idea.
Yeah,
they may well have changed.
See, now it's like Mercedes McLaren and.
But that's because the manufacturers have got more involved in it rather than it being individual teams.
Yeah, the teams back then though it wasn't. But the sponsors were the big ones, and then after that possibly the team's name, and then the engines were almost forgotten.
Well, the black car with the JPS that you were going on, to me, in the same way as it's the Marlboro McLaren, that was the JPS Lotus.
Funny you should mention Lotus. Have you seen the news recently, sir?
No. I know they're coming back this year.
They're coming back this year, and what colours should they have?
Well, they've either got to be black or
Or-
British Racing Green,
British Racing Green and Gold.
which is a merging of the two, really, isn't it?
British Racing Green and Gold, the same way as the badge for the Lotus is British Racing Green and Gold. And to actually see the car in those colours, it's amazing how the colour and the design of it suddenly makes it look like those classic cars from the 70s and 80s.
Even though it's
Even though
about
it's
as futuristic as it gets.
Absolutely, even though it's a completely modern and new car, it looks very 70s and 80s, and you're like, yes, it's the Golden Virginia team. It's Creo.
Yeah, I suppose it would be, wouldn't it? Lotus Route.
Yeah, that was what sort of...
that looks nice.
It does, yeah, and that's kind of what... Yeah, it's got the gold wheels, which obviously...
That is a very strange front wing it's got, though.
Yeah.
Isn't that odd?
I'm wondering what the controversy is going to be this year. You know, is that an illegal wing for the front?
Well,
wheel?
I never read the story when I saw it. I was at work, but apparently there is already certain teams complaining and raising questions about the legality of other teams' cars.
Yeah.
Saying that certain rules are open to interpretation and. We don't think they've interpreted
Interpreted?
it.
You're making up your own words now.
Yeah, we don't think they've interpreted it in the spirit of what it was meant. You
Well,
know.
I have to say...
But I
that-
don't know what they were talking about.
Yeah, the controversies last year about the rear end of the car and the downdraft and so forth, I think that they did Formula One a world of good. Because they put them on the news very regularly. The enhancements themselves actually meant that a team that was unexpected took the championship,
Yes.
and it kind of brought a bit of interest back to it. When it is all very to the rules and all the cars are the same, then it might as well be Indianapolis. You know, it might as well be going around the oval with the same car with the same body, and who cares?
Absolutely.
I think that the whole how people interpret the new rules and that sort of thing, I think it does the game some good, actually.
But that's how classic Formula One always was.
Yes.
Because, I mean, mentioning Lotus again, they were absolute buggers for interpreting rules in such a way as to try and gain an advantage.
Yeah.
I mean, it was Lotus that came out with the six-wheeled car.
Yeah. I was wondering if that was going to be mentioned.
Yeah, they had four wheels at the back for grip and two wheels at the front. And they also came out with they basically had a huge fan at the bottom of the car
To suck
and
it
a
down to the track.
skirt. And it had a skirt around the edges of the car.
So like an
which
anti-hovercraft.
Yeah, it created a vacuum and just sucked it onto the track. They were only allowed to race it once and they got it banned. All the other teams got it banned. But, I mean, this is what Lotus were known for.
Yeah.
Let's take a rule, take it to its sort of furthest point that we can think we can get away with, and sort of really trying to push it. And it's kind of harking back to that kind of thing with what happened last year.
Yeah. Any idea who's going to be driving for Lotus?
No, but I'm sure I can find out if it's been announced yet. Of course, we all know who's driving for the new Mercedes team.
Yes.
That's going to be interesting.
Yes.
I haven't seen any of his lap times.
No, I don't know if
During
they're
practice.
publishing that sort of thing yet.
I'm just looking now, seeing if I can find it. Jarno Trulli. 2001 newcomer Lotus has unveiled experienced
2001?
2010 newcomer Lotus has unveiled experienced Toyota refugee Jarno Trulli and Lewis Hamilton's Formula. I can't read. former McLaren Mercedes teammate Heikki Kovalainen as its two drivers.
Oh, nice.
So they've gone for experience then.
I think
Rather
personally
than a
that,
rookie.
Toyota stand a good chance this year.
Yeah, because they're not going to be able to stop, are they?
If they get the sticky throttle.
Yeah. Oh dear.
You're not supposed to tell the second half of my joke. That was my punchline you stole there.
Sorry, I got where you were going. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I am interested in seeing is how the no fuel stops works.
A lot of cars running out,
Well, I mean,
potentially.
yeah. I mean, how many? That's happened on more than one occasion when
When you've
before
got
they
fuel
introduced the
stops.
fuel
Yeah.
stops.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it was Nigel Mansell on one
Last
season,
corner of the last lap.
last lap, and
Yeah.
if he'd have won the race, he'd have won the world championship or something along those
Yeah.
lines.
Yeah, it sounds
and he
about
ran out
right
of
for
fuel.
Nigel.
Yeah, and he ran out of fuel.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is potential for that to happen again this year. I mean, I'm sure they've probably got more advanced telemetry and monitoring equipment, so they pretty much know 15 laps before the end
Yeah.
how fast the guy's got to drive, whether he's got to conserve his fuel or anything.
Instead of the stick in the tank that Nigel Mansell used to
Nigel had, yeah.
pull it up and they give the car a bit of a shake. Yeah, it sounds all right.
You're good for another couple of laps, don't worry. But I do hope it increases the on-track racing, which is the whole point of it.
Yeah.
People have said there's no overtaking in Formula One. There is. It just happens while cars are standing still. You know, it's all down
yeah.
to the pit stops. It's very rare that a car...
It also tends to happen when the country that's hosting the circuit are concentrating on their driver at the back of the pack.
Yes.
Oh, and while we've been watching this Spanish guy at the back of the pack, the Spanish Grand Prix, at the front we've had a complete reshuffle. It's been amazing.
And you've missed
nobody's
it.
seen it. Yes.
Yeah, quite. So, I'm kind of hoping that now, if they want a place, they've got to physically take that place.
Yeah.
Because there's not... There still is going to be tactics, I guess, from a pit stop strategy.
As you say, you've still got tyres that need changing. Tyres aren't going to last an entire lap.
No, they won't, but they only take a few seconds. You're not going to gain that much time. The thing with the variable fuel is how fast you can go,
Yeah.
because the obviously the fuel weighs something. So the logic is that you run a car with really, really light fuel for the first few laps, so you can build up this massive lead and then go in and fuel up and come out in the lead.
Yeah.
Or you go in with lots of fuel.
And while the guy's
and
in getting his second lot of fuel, you
You're
can trundle past him. Yeah.
Exactly. Of course, that's not going to happen. A fuel stop only takes 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah. A tyre stop.
And per tyre stop, and that's going to take the same amount, not including obviously time in and time out of the pit straight, but physically sitting still only takes 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah.
You're not going to gain a huge advantage anymore by hanging out. You know, that time discrepancy isn't there because you're all on the same amount of fuel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So realistically, if you want a place, you may gain a place in the pits if you're both. I mean, you used to have scenes where two drivers, they're second and third place, and there's
Coming to the pits at the same time. Yeah.
and which one gets out first. Yeah, but from a point of view of trying to build up a lead that you've got enough of to get in and out again, it's not really going to make a lot of difference.
Yeah. Is Braun going to be the technical director for Mercedes, or
Yes, he is. Yeah. He's basically as he was last year without being owner of the team. He still is sort of technical director and calling the shots of race strategies and all of that. But he just doesn't own the team.
And this is a team. I'm trying to work out now. So, Button's changing team
Yeah, Button's racing with Hamilton for McLaren.
for McLaren. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got Schumacher in what was Braun's team with
Yes.
Braun.
With is it Sebastian Vettel?
With Vettel.
I think
Oh, I didn't know that.
it's another German driver.
Yeah.
Let me have a look.
I think they're going to win again then.
Well, it's certainly not beyond the realms of possibility, is it?
Yeah, because Vettel's a good driver.
No, it's not Vettel. It's Nico Rosberg. Sorry, the other German.
No, in that case, it's screwed.
You've been listening to The Dumbed Down Life. All of the music from this show came from Music Alley from Mevio at musicalley.com. You can follow us on Twitter. Our account name is Dumbed Down Life. Our email address is ddl.podshow@gmail.com, and our website address is www.dumbeddownlife.com. Thanks for listening.